Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone around the world. Welcome to joining the webinar of the export first round announcement today. My name is Hongqing Li. I'm working from the United Nations Office of Space Affairs. And I just share my screen and hope everybody have any problem to see my slides.
Yes, it looks great.
It's great. Yeah. Okay. And so today, the first round webinar, we have announced the export CubeSat program on July 26th. About 1 month later, we conduct this webinar as introduction. Just before the start, I think there's several administration matters. I have a mute turn off your camera and nuke during the webinar, so please make your camera and mic muted. And after that, we will have questions and you can get back. Second, after the webinar, I will send the feedback questionnaire just to improve our service. And that what the feedback maybe only take 1 or 2 minutes, very simple. And I hope that you can spend some little bit time for the feedback questions. And the third one, if you have time, that just remember to help us to promote this event, just for the social media, for the UNOOSA. For today's webinar, the agenda is we start the webinar, and after that we have the introduction to the Access to Space for All project, and later we'll invite the Exolaunch robot in the corner to make the introduction to the Exolaunch and EXOpod project briefly. Before that, after that, I will introduce the announcement of the doc opportunity and application form. And then I will invite Exolaunch to introduce the user guide of the EXOpod. And finally, we can have a question and answer Q&A. So we hope that the webinar can last about 1 hour. First of all, I introduce the project of the Access to Space for All. As some of you may know that Access to Space for All, we have conducted the project for many years. If you know that the goal of the Access to Space for All initiative is to provide the research and orbital opportunities for the United Member States to access to space, ensure that the benefits of space is particular for the sustainable development, especially truly accessible to all. And you know that UNOOSA, actually we have made the conference and training courses for many years, or last 50 years. And we have developed a lot of the expertise, but more and more requirements. And I think that back in 2012, we have cooperated with partners for running their experiments, and that's the start for the 2018. We launched the Access to Space for All projects. And you know that Access to All, we have now offered the member states a structured program for building their hand-on capacity step by step. We have 3 tracks now. Briefly, in the next page, you can see that now we have 3 tracks. We call the hypergravity and the microgravity track. The second track is a satellite development track. And the third one is a space exploration track. You see that in the first track, we usually provide the hand-on opportunities for the hypergravity and microgravity. And for the satellite development, we provide hand-on opportunities for the satellite development. And the third one is exploration. For each track, we have 3 columns. You can see that one is hands-on opportunities, and also the second item, we provide open source tools and webinars, training, education components. And third one, we provide the educational materials to supporting the whole lifetime of the 3 tracks. And in the next page, you can see that in the 3 tracks, for example, in the hypergravity and microgravity, we now have the 5 ongoing hands-on projects. You can see that first one is the drop test. We cooperate with the DARM, the Germany Space Agency. And second is, we cooperate with the European Space Agency under hypergravity, we call the HyperJets project. And also we work with the Airbus. You can see the Bartholomew, and then we provide the China Space Station, and also we have a serial we working on the Dream Chaser. So we'll have 5 hands-on opportunities working on the hypergravity and microgravity. And for second track, you can see that we have 4 ongoing projects, including the PHI we're working with on the MBIC for the UAE, and another 3 is we're working with the JAXA to provide the CubeSat, CubeCube, project that to deploy the CubeSat satellites from the International Space Station. And now we are working the Exolaunch is our new partner. They'll sign the MOU this January. We have announced the new project EXOpod. This is the first round. We provide also the CubeSat deployment services. And the final one is that we work with the Avio to provide the Vega C opportunities. In the third track, space exploration, we provide the opportunity, and now working with the project is called ExoScope. ExoScope, we work with Russia for the telescope for the ground. So you can see that there's about 10 hands-on opportunities right now. We also in the right column, you can see that we provide the education, including the system integration and webinar services by cooperation with the NASA. And also, we're also working together with the JAXA to provide the keyboard RPC project and many other scholars. That's the total picture of the Access to Space for All project. And until now, this slide, I just summarize that achievement. Now we have worked in the blue section. You can see that now we have 10 hands-on opportunities, and we have 1 annual fellowship. Until now, we have announced 34 awardees involving the 47 entities from the 34 countries all over the world. And now we have launched the 5 CubeSats already. 4 of the CubeSats, I think they're the first CubeSat satellites of the countries. We have made the 8 microgravity experiments called HyperJets and 3 hypergravity experiments, HyperJets and the drop test projects. Very helpful to many participants. In the right column, you can see that our partners who have worked with space agencies, research institutes, and universities, and also the private sectors. For the space agency, we'll have the cooperation with China Manned Space Flight, and also DIR, the Germany Aerospace Center, and the ESA is a European Space Agency, and JAXA, and also UAE Space Agency, and also NASA. And we have working with university institutes. And for private sectors, you can see that now we have new partner Exolaunch. Before that, we have worked as a Airbus, Avio, and Sierra Space. Here is briefly the totally awardees we have awarded to for under the access to space for our project. If you see there the drop tests, we have conducted 9 rounds of the experiments from the 2014 and then now 2024. We have 9 awardees. And hybridges, we have 4 awardees. And PHI, we are now in the 2nd round. And then in the selection, in the evaluation stage, and we will announce this year for the 2nd round. And Cube, you can see that I will have a 7 round already. And just this week, we have announced the new announcement of the new awardees. And China space flights, back in 2019, we have received many proposals. We have finally selected the 7 projects from the 13 different countries. Now it's under development. Also, you know that you can see the awardees for the Legacy and Exolaunch, Exoscope. And for the access to festival, I think that after that, they have provided a very good, impact to the awardees. I think that you can see that the impact. Let's take the example of building the capacity in robotics in microgravity. In 2016, a team from the Costa Rica was the winner of the opportunity. That is offered through the office, in collaboration with the Center of Applied Space Technology and Microgravity, we call ZAM, in Germany. We have a very long-standing cooperation with the ZAM, and then the team in Costa Rica, the robots, in their stability microgravity environment, and the robotics and the microgravity. And those are the skills needed today and will be more needed determined. Another example that we are launching the satellite in 2017, a team from Guatemala was a winner of an opportunity that was offered by the office with the JAXA. And the JAXA is also a very long-standing partner with UNOOSA. So I think that this project have helped many entities, many from all over the world to develop their own satellites and make their experiments. Yeah. Of course, that all the opportunity have a technical component on top of that, but I think that we are much concerned about how space technology data and application can help the achievements of the 17, sustainable development goals under the United Nations, the 70 goals. So in the opportunity of the access to this for all, we ask the applicants to build the link between their proposed implementation and the SDGs. So if you look at SDG 70, I think that most frequently related, with our access to space. For example, the number 4 as quality education, and also the 8 decent work and economic growth, and of course the 11 is the sustainable cities and sorry, the SDG 9 is industry innovation and infrastructure. So I think that's it's more related to the SDGs and the United States. When you apply for the project and access to space for, we encourage that you found your project. What's your project related to the SDGs? That's very important when you submit your applications. For the opportunities, new opportunity with Exolaunch. I just very briefly beginning that introduction. This opportunity is working with Exolaunch, our new partner, and for this opportunity, we will deploy up to 2 entities with the export deployment service systems provided by the Exolaunch. Exolaunch will provide free of launch export CubeSat deployer and the launch services for each of their CubeSat, as well as the technical services and support. And you know that the agreement we have signed in this January, we announced the agreement in January 31st, where the COPUS meeting was held in Vienna. And just in the last month, on July 26th, we have announced the first round opportunity. So this opportunity, the deadline will be the end of this year. It's December 31st, 2024. That's a very brief introduction for our whole access to space project and also the announcement. I think later on we will introduce in detail about the opportunity document and also the application form. So before that, I would like to invite the Robert and the Corner from the Exolaunch to make the introduction of the Exolaunch, the company and export systems. Yeah. And up to you, Robert.
Great, thanks so much. If you don't mind to
just a moment, I will
so we can share.
Yeah, just a moment. Just a moment, I will let Robert to share his screen. Robert,
Perfect,
now.
Yeah. Yes. All right.
Okay.
Great. Thank you so much, Hongsheng, for that introduction and for the opportunity for Exolaunch to participate in this program. We're excited to partner with you to offer this launch opportunity through the United Nations, the Access to Space for All initiative. We feel strongly at Exolaunch that all nations should have equal opportunity to benefit from the knowledge and economic opportunities of being a responsible space actor. And it's our passion to open opportunities through initiatives such as this one. At Exolaunch, we're a global provider of launch and mission management services. We're based here in Germany, in Berlin, Germany, and we provide satellite operators from around the world with the most reliable, flexible, and cost-effective opportunities to get their satellites into orbit. We have the experience of 29 launch campaigns on multiple launch vehicles. We've launched almost 400 satellites over the past decade. We've designed and manufactured patented satellite separation systems, including the EXOpod Nova CubeSat dispenser that we'll talk more about during this webinar. Our combination of robust hardware, relationships with launch providers, and customer-first approach to customer missions makes us the most reliable launch partner for satellites from the smallsat CubeSat up to microsats that are several hundreds of kilograms. So today, Connor and I will be your guides to the hardware requirements for your participation in this program. My name is Robert, and I'm the CTO here at Exolaunch, and I'm joined by Connor, the mission director and lead systems engineer for our separation systems.
Hello.
We're going to show you the CubeSat dispenser. You can see it sitting on the table behind us. And we're going to talk through the design specifications and testing requirements of your CubeSat to ensure a successful program. But before we do that, I want to give you a little bit of background. It'll be fast. So I mentioned that at Exolaunch, we design and manufacture separation systems that support a wide variety of satellite designs. For microsatellites, we offer our Carbonix separation system, that's the upper left in this image, which is a ring-based separation system for satellites roughly in the 50 to 500 kilogram mass range. Going clockwise, we offer our exoports, which are adapter structures that allow for multiple payloads to utilize a single launch vehicle interface. This simplifies operations for the launch provider, and it opens up additional opportunities for launch for our customers. Then in the lower right, We also offer our ExoBox deployment sequencer, which is an avionics unit compatible with all of our hardware, and this performs the deployment sequencing to deploy satellites to the proper orbit at the proper time. And of course, lower left, what we're here to talk about today is our EXOpod CubeSat deployer, which is the most reliable, highest internal volume, highest mass capacity CubeSat deployer on the market. This is the hardware that your CubeSat will be inside during the ride to space. Now, mentioned earlier, Exolaunch has a deep heritage of launch campaigns on a wide variety of launch vehicles. From large launch vehicles to small, we've launched with both long-established mainstays of the space industry and startups on their maiden flights. We support our customers by sharing opportunities that meet their mission objectives, budget, timeline, and risk tolerance. We guide you through the process of options, explaining the pros and cons of each opportunity to select the right launch for your mission. Now, for this opportunity, we'll be utilizing the SpaceX Transporter Rideshare program, which means the successful applicants will be launching on a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. And we're going to talk more about what this means in terms of testing requirements and timelines. As part of this program, at Exolaunch, we will walk with the successful applicants through each of these phases of the mission. You will come up with a mission objective, you will design and build the CubeSat, and we will be here to help you with the launch planning and mission management. We'll advise you on environmental testing requirements and report submissions. We'll guide you through the logistics of transporting your satellite to our facility here in Berlin, where we will integrate the satellite into the EXOpod Nova deployer. After that, we will take care of transporting the deployer with the satellite inside to the launch site. We'll attach the deployer to the launch vehicle, where it will be launched to low Earth orbit. Now, we've performed these actions hundreds of times for a veritable who's who in the space industry. But we look forward to adding your name to this list of the organizations that have launched with Exolaunch. So I'm now going to turn it over to Connor, and he's going to walk us through the EXOpod deployer. You see some specs on the sheet, and these slides will be available to you, but I'll let Connor take it from here.
Thanks, Robert. So the EXOpod deployer, as Robert mentioned, is the CubeSat deployer which your satellite will be put into to be brought to space. Once it goes to space, it'll receive a signal from the launch vehicle, the door will open, and your satellite will be pushed out by a large spring in the back and ejected. It will then, that's when your mission will begin. I'll demonstrate what that looks like here. In my hand, I have if you use your imagination, you can imagine this as a very small launch vehicle. This is going to send the electrical signal to the slot which holds your satellite. When the door opens, this is what it looks like. So the door opens, and here you can see there's a wagon with the spring behind it. And this is what pushes your satellite out into space. If you look carefully, you can see on the inside that your satellite is going to be held inside on the 4 rails at the corners of the slot. This is the primary interface between the deployer and the satellite, and this is how the size of these rails is what defines the size of your satellite. So this information is defined in our user manual, and if you haven't already, I encourage you to download it from our website so that you can find all of the requirements for your spacecraft so that it goes properly into our CubeSat deployer.
That's great. Thanks so much. So we will go through this in more detail later in this webinar. We'll tell you how to download the user manual, and we'll walk through specific sections that show you the requirements that Connor mentioned that you need to ensure that you can meet. But for now, we'll turn it back over to Hongxing to walk through the AO application, where to find that, and how to get your application submitted.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Connor, for your very excellent introduction. Yeah, it's great. Let me take back. Robert, can you hear me?
Yes, you sound great, and we can see your screen as well.
Okay. I assume that everybody can see my slides and the screen. Now I'll continue with this slide I just have introduced just now already. Now I've make an introduction of the website of the Access to Space for All, and also our website for the Export and Exolaunch project. And I also will introduce the announcement of the opportunity and also the application form here. Here, I just show you how to, I hope everybody know the website of the UNOOSA. In just the left corner, you can see there is a USA website address, www.unoosa.org. And if you access to the website, and in the top menu, and the second menu, our work, there is a list of the project of the work, and you can find the Access to Space for All project here. If you click on the Access Space for All, we have a sub-menu for the member state partnership opportunities, awardees, and acknowledgement. So just click on the Access to Space for All, and you will go to the page on the left side. I can see this is the web page for the Access to Space for All. And on this page, you can see the page. You can have several sections. For example, the member state partnership, awardees, contribution. We also have the 3 tracks: the hypergravity, microgravity track, satellite development track, space exploration track here. So that's the first step. And the next page, if you click on the satellite development track, you can go to this page on the right. You can see that there are all the projects of the handout opportunity, and then at the bottom you can see the export in the project button. Of course, we have other sections of PHI, CubeSat, and also education component. That's a page just to show you very quickly about what the page look like. And if you click on the export, you will go to the export work page like this. And on the top, you can see that the export project, and we have the latest news here, which we have announced in the announcement, the opportunity between UNOOSA and Exolaunch, and also the webinar of today's webinar here. And this is the web page for the export. And on bottom the web page, we have 3 rounds: awardees, partners. And if you click on the rounds, and you will come to the page for the export rounds, first round here. And now on the export first round, you can see the content of the web page. Here we have the first round schedule. You can see that we have an announcement of the document. We have the webinar information. We also have the submission of the expression of interest. That's the new content I just updated yesterday. If you have interest in applying for this opportunity, you can click on here and just spend only several minutes. You can submit the express of interest. And you know the deadline of this opportunity is the end of this year. And here is the announcement document. Here you can see the two important documents. One is the announcement of document PDF, and also the application form template. They were uploaded on the June 26th. That's the most important two documents. I don't want now go to detail, but just to let you know that where you can find the document, and then you can read them carefully in detail. And in the bit below, you can see the reference materials. We have uploaded the export Nova user manual, also the RedShare payload user guide, and also the several other documents, including the register for the objects left into outer space, and also the spirit debris mitigation guidelines, and a guideline for the long-term sustainability of the outer space activities. All these document is related to the application. So I just recommend that everybody, if you want to apply for the opportunity, just read all the documents very carefully. They have all the required information in this document. And if you have any questions, during this stage, you can send an email with UNOOSA access to space at un.org, our email address. And you can also watch the webinars recordings. For this recording, we have recorded, and we will upload to the website after this webinar. So you can just see that all the announcement document can be found at the export web page. And of course, this page will be updated from time to time. So just remember to visit the website periodically, and so you will know the updates or the updates there. Now, next I go to briefly about the announcement of the document of the opportunity. Maybe a lot of people have seen this document. I have no enough time to go in detail, but show you very quickly about the important. You know that here you can find the title of the project. We call it the export, and the deadline for the application is December 31st at the end of this year. And the number of opportunities we will select about up to 2 entities for the deployment opportunities. Each one maybe have 1U to 3U CubeSat, depending on your application. Also, the slots available to the Exolaunch. And the scope of the opportunity, I just mentioned already that launched the 2 1U to 3U CubeSat. And also in the opportunity, they have a schedule and application at the December 31st. And on the next year, on February 28th, preliminary, we will have try to have the shortlist applicants. And then after the update of the application, we are targeted to have the final announcement of the winner in the middle of next year on June 30th. And after that, you will have maybe 15 to 18 months to develop your CubeSat, and then until to transport to export for launch. The next slide shows the project schedule I just mentioned already. You can see that now is an announcement, and waiting for you. Today is a webinar, and we look forward to your application on the December 31st. And until June, middle of the last year, we have the final awardees. And after development, we are planning to have the launch in early 2027. Excuse me. The Article 14 is about the eligibility criteria. Here, if you see here that we are only located in the developing economies, all the economies in transition is eligible, including the government organizations, research institutes, universities, and other public and non-profit organizations. but unfortunately, the private sectors are not eligible. And how do you define or verify whether you are eligible or not? You can see that you can use the what economic and situation prospects published by the United Nations, Department of Economic and Social Affairs. Here you can have the link of the document. You can check whether your country and your title is eligible for these applications. And also for the applicants that the responsibility, you're responsible for the design, manufacture, the testing, and operations. And your membership, you can have the many members deemed necessary. But if you have our external partners to work together, I just mentioned that we are encouraging you work partner with external partner to work together. But just remember to mention that it's external support in your application form. And for the selection criteria, we consider the several aspects. For example, the completeness of the application form. We also consider the scientific and technical value of your application. This is a very important factor. Novelty of the missions. And we also consider your link between your application with the SDGs and whether the Sustainable Development Goals and the United Nations. And we will consider the team composition and also the capability for your technical capabilities to develop the CubeSat. And the other factor, including your schedules, your budget, and your team composition. So that's the factor we will consider when we select the final winners of the applications. And finally, just remember that you need to comply with the space debris mitigation guidelines and also the long-term sustainability of the outer space activities. So remember to read these two documents and make sure that you have a full compliance of these guidelines. And the rules and responsibilities defining as your applicant of this project and what's your role and responsibilities. You have defined clearly in the announcement of the opportunity document. You may submit and you update your schedule and attend the meetings, conduct. I don't know if you want to read the document, but show you that this is here. We have defined the role and responsibilities of the applicant. Here is the application form. You can see the applicant I show here is the whole table of content. We have 14 articles. Each section have a very detailed instructions how to prepare. Just to take example, for example, the section 1 is the basic information. Section 2 is the team composition. You can see what's your team members, what's your project leaders, and external support. And section 3 is your summary and abstract of your proposal. Section 4 is about your mission objectives. And 5 is your specification and a detailed description of your CubeSat. And also section 6 is regarding about your AIT of your CubeSat, including the assembly, integration, and testing. Section 7 is about schedule, 8 is about budget. As well as section 9 is about transportation to the facility of the Exolaunch. Section 10 is about the licensing and the compliance with the international guidelines here. We have several 10 sub-paragraphs you take note. And section 11 is about the feasibility and the risk analysis. And 12 is a communication and dissemination plan. Somebody have not paid is the intention, but I just remind that you pay some special attention on this section. You need to propose how to you make the communication to the public and how to disseminate, the project. If you win the project, just how to promote the project publicly. And the final is a supporting document and also abbreviation. So here, just to save your time, I just want to show briefly of the whole structure of the application form. When you see the application form in each section, they will indicate whether it's optional or mandatory. Just make sure that you make the compliance. And each section, you have the instruction how to prepare your applications. And on this section, I just provide you some information. In our website, at the UNOOSA website, we have provided a lot of information. For example, the webinars. One of the important webinar is CubeCube. We have a CubeCube Academy. We have done many webinars and educational series before. So that we have upload all these webinars in the website. So if you're interested and it's helpful, you can visit the website to see these webinars. Second is we have a system engineer webinar provided by NASA last year. We have 4 sessions already. And in the right column, you can see a lot of educational component. So when you have the visit VISA Access to Space for All website, you can have the access to all these components. So that's information is very, very helpful. I hope to spend some time to find the resources. So before the end, I want to show our website. Just a moment. I have made an introduction already, but I want to just show you. So here, if you tap to the web page, you can see the website of the UNOOSA website. And here, just the work, your access to space for all. Click here. And you can see the access to space for all website. And now you see the satellite development track. You can see the export. Click on the export. That's the export page. Looks like we have rounds, awardees, partners, Exolaunch, and click on the round. You can go to the export round for the first round application here. And now you can find all the announcement documents here. You can download the document hit. And for today's webinar, I also upload the presentation here already. You can download here, and also other document. So just let you know, for example, if you click on the announcement of the opportunity, you can see that document information here. An application form. Here is the beginning of the instruction. And that's the content I just introduced just now. So when you see each section, you can see the instructions. So that's all. I don't think I need to spend too much time in detail. I think that the information is there. Just remember to read all the information instruction. Yes. Okay, that's the introduction about to the announcement of opportunity and application form. Now I transfer the floor to Robert, who will introduce about the user's guide and user manual. He will work with the corner and together to make the introduction of the user manual of export and also the transporter menus.
Great, thank you so much for that, Hongxing. Can you confirm that you can see my screen okay?
Yeah, just a moment. I can see you. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, great.
So that was a great walkthrough of how to get to forms to participate in this program. As Hongsheng mentioned, these resources are on the UNOOSA page, but we also wanted to provide how to get to them through the Exolaunch and the SpaceX websites. There are two primary documents that he talked about, but we wanted to also provide direct links and how to get to these in their respective sources. The first one is the user manual for the EXOpod Nova. You can see the direct link, and as he mentioned, the slides are already on the UNOOSA website, direct link, but to get there, you can browse to exolaunch.com. In the header, you can select products, and in the box that shows up, you can select EXOpod. That will take you to the page directly for EXOpod, and when you are there, you will scroll down to a section. It looks like this. It says CubeSat Deployer, and there is a document section with a link to EXOpod Nova. When you click that link, that will download a PDF of the latest version of the EXOpod Nova user's manual. Similarly, another document that's very important for this program is the SpaceX Transporter Rideshare Payload User Guide. Again, there's a direct link to this at the top of the screen, but to get to this document, you browse to spacex.com, and in their header, you select Rideshare, and once you're on the Rideshare page, you will see a button for Payload Users Guide. And this will download the PDF for the SpaceX Transporter Rideshare Payload User Guide. Now, in each of these documents, we'll go into these. We won't go into great detail of these documents, but Connor will walk you through a couple of the sections that are very important for you to pay attention to as you are designing and then building and testing your satellite. Connor.
Thanks, Robert. So this program is for a satellite between 1U and 3U in size. So this table here, table 1 from the user manual, is where we define the rail size of what that means. So the rails, if you remember, are what define the length of the CubeSat. These are on the corners. And so these rails are going to be, for a 1U, they're going to be 10 by 10 centimeters by 13.5, or in millimeters, that's 100 by 100 millimeters, and with a length of 113.5. To go from a 1U to a 2U, the lengths here will be 100 by 100 millimeters with an overall length of 227, and 3U has an overall length of 340.5 millimeters. So you can see that on the upper left corner of the table. And in the user manual, there's also an image here to help clearly define what the reference for these rail sizes. It's important that these dimensions are accurately, when you manufacture your satellite, that you accurately follow these, because this is the interface to the deployer, and if they're not accurate, then you may not fit inside when it comes time to put them together. So understanding how this definition works with the rails is very important. The test requirements are additionally a very important part of any CubeSat program. So this table here, table 6-2, this comes from the SpaceX user manual, the RPUG, which stands for Rideshare Payload Users Guide. This is the document you can either get directly from SpaceX on their website or from the UNOOSA webpage, where they also have it available. But this table here, this defines what is required for CubeSats, what has to be done to your CubeSat before it can be launched. So you'll see the first column says test, and the second column says required/advised. So we'll start here. Most of the tests are advised, so you do not need to perform shock testing. You do not need to perform thermal vacuum or thermal cycling testing. And if you do not have a propulsion system, you do not need to do any sort of pressure system or leak testing. So most CubeSats these days do not have propulsion systems, so these tests are not required. You can, of course, do them and they do add some confidence that your satellite will survive in the space environment. But for SpaceX, their big concern is that it survives the launch environment. And so what is relevant here is random vibration and electromagnetic compatibility. Now, both of these tests, if you read through the documentation, they can actually be combined into a single test. And this can be done on a shaker table with random vibration. So the way this works and the way you'll want to think about this is that the random vibration test represents the launch loads. This is as the rocket is launching, the random vibration test simulates these vibrations that are occurring during launch. And you are demonstrating by doing this test that your satellite can survive the launch loads. If you want to verify the electromagnetic compatibility test at the same time, all you have to do is show that your satellite does not turn on during launch. So the easiest way to demonstrate this is to have put your satellite into a test pod, something that has representative interfaces, and we can provide a test pod for you. So that your satellite is off, but is able to turn on. It's not turning on because there's a switch on your satellite which prevents it from turning on, and that switch is pressed by the test pod. Now all you have to do is run the test, and before your test, you check what your boot count is. Let's say it's at 1, and then after your test, when you turn your satellite on again, it's only at 2. It's not at 3 or 4 or 1,000. It's at where you expect it to be, which would be 1 higher than before the test. And by doing it this way, you demonstrate you survived the launch loads, your satellite turns on, and it did not turn on from the vibration. And thus, because it's off, it's not generating electromagnetic interference, and there's no compatibility test required. So this is sort of the standard approach for CubeSats flying with SpaceX for testing. I'll add one more comment here for CubeSats. SpaceX recognizes 2 overall test approaches. One is called the fleet qualification approach. This is where you have a dedicated engineering model, which is not going to fly, and then you have a dedicated flight model, which is. This is kind of an expensive approach, and most CubeSat customers of ours do not actually follow this approach for CubeSats. They jump all the way to the right, where you just have a single flight unit and you do proto-flight qualification. So if you're not intending to build an engineering model that's identical to the flight model, you will be doing proto-flight. And this is actually the most common approach for CubeSats that we fly. And you'll notice here actually that the requirements for acceptance and for proto-flight are the same for random vibration for the required test. And so you do not have really an advantage as far as meeting the launcher requirements for having a dedicated engineering model. So we recommend for our CubeSat customers that they should go for proto-flight. And then this has already been said, but I'll say it again. I cannot recommend enough that you read these documents and become very familiar with them, because they are defining all of the requirements for this program. So for our customers, I say become familiar with these documents. For our own employees, I say we have to become familiar with these documents, even memorize them sometimes. So I recommend that you read these documents, understand them, and just be very familiar with the requirements that they define, because they define the entire launch program and how your spacecraft needs to be and what it needs to be compatible to. So the shipment and integration process will be sort of the final step, but once your satellite is built and tested, then it will come to our headquarters here in Berlin, where we will take it out of your shipping container, place it on our integration table, and then with your support, we will put it inside the deployer and close the door. And we do this for all of our customers. We are actually manifested for sometimes up to 40 CubeSats in a single mission. And so we try and bring everybody to Berlin so that when we go to the launch site, our activities are as short as possible. And we're just putting the full deployers up on the launch vehicle. So the integration will be here in Berlin. And we can help you coordinate all of the import, export, shipping requirements to get it here. So yeah, but it will be done here in Germany, is the main point.
Great. Thanks so much, Connor. And Hongshen, we'll turn it back over to you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Connor and Robert, for your introduction. Very great. Okay, everybody, that we finished the presentation from both UNOOSA and Exolaunch already. We are running a little bit of time, more than that, but it's fine. And now we go to the Q&A steps. So thanks for the participation. I think that's for somebody maybe late in the night already. But anyway, for everybody, we have today. I have seen that 7-8 people have joined the webinar. It's good. And I'm not sure whether our introduction is clear enough or not, because I cannot see the confirmation. Whether you can have the audio and the camera. When we have the webinar. But hopefully, I hope that everybody can hear that well. Now the question. So I can see that if anybody have any questions. You can send the questions in the question sections, so I can ask Robert and Connor to respond. For the moment, I didn't see any question in the question sections. I'm not sure whether you have noticed that in the chat section, you do have a question. You just send out the question there.
It does look like there's one question about, can different universities collaborate on one project?
Oh, I didn't see that. Is the question on the question section, Robert?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's directly in the meeting chat. Yeah, the question is, can different universities collaborate? And Hongshen, I want your verification, but yes, absolutely, collaboration is okay and encouraged.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, so you can cooperate together for the application. Also, if you want to have the external partner work together, as I just mentioned now, so you can also have the external partners as well. So you can read about the announcement of opportunity document. They have mentioned, they have defining this information as well. Yeah. I think, can I change the settings and allow all the body have can unmute the mic and microphone and the camera? Just a moment. Thanks. Just unmute the audio and video for everyone. So in case anybody want to speak here for the question, please. Yeah. I see the one question is that, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Robert?
Yes, yeah, and we
Okay.
found the Q&A section, so I think maybe we'll run through a couple of these. So Connor, did you want to take this one?
Sure. Yeah, so I see one question about the aluminum alloys that are allowed, whether aluminum 6061 and 7075 are the only structural materials. What about 3D printed materials? I would say you can choose actually many different aluminum alloys. There's no issue there. 3D printed materials can be also fine. The SpaceX user guide does have some restricted and forbidden materials that you cannot fly with. And most of these requirements are based on outgassing properties. So If a material outgasses too much, it can contaminate neighboring payloads. And so outgassing materials are generally not allowed, but there's no concern with 3D printed materials as long as you can pass the vibration campaign with them. There is a material restriction for the rails on the CubeSat. So we require aluminum that has been hard anodized for the rails. And it also has to have a certain smoothness. So it needs to be generally polished or machined at that surface before anodizing. And this is where it's a moving interface with the CubeSat deployer itself. So this is why we have this requirement. And so generally people machine the rails, but in theory, it could also be 3D printed.
Yeah, and there's also a one right below that. Does the initial application for the opportunity need to contain final unchangeable information, or can it be modified later on? I think I would say some things we understand may be tweaked a little bit, like you may not know the exact final mass, but overall, like mission objectives, those should not change. So of course we would allow for modifications, as development occurs. But of course we would want to maintain the kind of the spirit of the application and have no major changes. There's also a question about are 2U CubeSats included, or only 1 and 3U CubeSats? No, 2Us are acceptable. So 1, 2, or 3U are all okay. Hongshan, I'll let you take this one. The question is, does UNOOSA have programs to fund development of the CubeSat or to fund entire seed for CubeSat startup?
I noticed that question. The question, does UNOOSA have a program to fund the development of the CubeSat or to fund an entire seed for the if you see the document announcement of opportunity, we have provided some fundings for the project. And as you just Robert in the corner mentioned that the Exolaunch for this project will provide the deployment and launch of the CubeSat free of charge. They also provide the technical support and also related services also free of charge. This is kind of the funding project. And UNOOSA, and in some projects we provide some accommodation or tickets for the experiment, but not for this project. This project we have no funding for. But in some projects, I make the introduction to the access to space for all projects, and in different projects, UNOOSA will provide some fundings for the final winners, but they depend on the project. Yeah. So if you have more questions, you can send me email, and I will explain and exchange to you specifically. Yeah.
That's a great follow-up to the next question. What email address should people use for questions about the program?
Yeah, you can send the email to the access to space for UNOOSA. Now, if you see my slides and also the announcement document, we have the email address. And also for the webinar, we're using this email address to send all the notification and email, so you can see the email address. You can send the question to us. The next question, I can see that I'm currently doing my PhD in European country, and I would like to apply this opportunity for my country in Africa. Is that possible? Okay, that's a good question. But for the applicant, we are using, it depends on your applying organization. You will use one of the applying organization to make your application. If you work for them, or if you're a member of that organization, it's fine, you can apply. And also the other team members under the same organizations. Of course, if you have the second organization to work together, you can do that. So read the instruction information in the document. You can see we have also mentioned this kind. Just to mention, and also if you're working with an external partner, also you can work with them. But remember to mention that it's external partner. And next question is, can Exolaunch pay the shipment and launch? I think they have answered the question already, right?
Yeah, I'll just clarify that the successful applicants will be responsible for shipping their satellite from their facility to Berlin, Germany. And after that, Exolaunch will be responsible for launch costs and shipping from Berlin to the launch site.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But that means that the applicant, you need to be responsible for the shipment from your place to Berlin. After Berlin, that Exolaunch will take all the cost. Let's see the next question. All the materials and electronic parts need to be space qualified?
Actually, no. So the materials need to be space appropriate. So I mentioned before outgassing, but generally materials and electronics parts do not need to be space qualified. It can be important to have some level of at least test heritage for critical satellite components. For example, attitude control systems or power systems. But they do not need space heritage for this program, and other elements like batteries or onboard computer elements, they don't need any space heritage at all, and you're welcome to choose commercial off-the-shelf components for them.
Yeah, thank you, Colin. I skip one question. What are the key regulatory requirements and the compliance issues that the emerging countries should be aware when launching CubeSat?
Yeah, that's a great question. It is actually a pretty detailed question, so I won't go into a lot of depth. I will refer you to the SpaceX Rideshare User Guide. But in general, you will need authorization from to launch the object, to operate, which means you will need the radio license to be able to communicate with the satellite, and to register it. To have someone, an entity, usually your country's government, to register, to kind of take responsibility that they know this is going to space.
Yeah. And also additional information we also mentioned in the announcement document already. For example, the registration for the outer space objects under the UNOOSA and the website. And also you need to comply with the guideline, for example, the space debris and also the long-term sustainability guidelines. So I just mentioned, in the presentation as well. So just remember to read the document after the webinar and in details. Next one is, can private space society not from university participate in the application? I would like to apply for this opportunity for my country, Indonesia. I can answer this question because no, for this opportunity, we have clarified that the private company is not eligible. But if the universities and institutes is eligible now. So we are not opening for the private companies for this opportunity.
Can I ask a follow-up question? If it's not a company but a private nonprofit institution, as long as they're not for profit, are they still eligible for this?
It's non-profit, or it's organization can, we have mentioned that. It can apply. So it's not private space society. I think it's a non-profit, maybe non-profit society, non-profit organizations. The final one is, it is the only institutions can participate in the program, or for example, if there are a group of people related to PhD research. I'm not quite sure about this question. Only a group of people. Yeah. I think that the group of people, yeah, you can, but you need to have an organization. You're doing HP, for example, if you study or learn now in the universities or in the institute, I think you can apply for the project, in that under the apply organizations, university, but you cannot apply the personally or individually, but you need to using the organization to apply, right?
Here's a question I can answer. Are the CubeSat tests to be performed before submitting the proposal, or will they be performed after the deadline? And the answer is definitely after. So typically, tests for CubeSats are performed, let's say, between 3 and 6 months before the launch, so relatively late. So there will be enough time to win the proposal, develop and build your satellite, and test it before the launch.
Great. Yes. Yeah, almost we have answered all of the questions. I noticed that there are still 68 people on the line, so most of the people is still on the line to join the meeting. So we appreciate it very much. Thank you. A new question is coming.
I see just we jump back over to the Q&A. There's a question about the Ariane 6 deployment, and this is a common question that we get about you can sometimes see in the video when there's a bright light, like the sun behind the camera, there appears to be dust floating around the launch payload. And these are typically actually ice particles, and these come from the air that was inside the fairing. As that air escapes, these tiny water particles freeze, and they settle around the upper stage. So when there's deployments or anything starts moving, then these particles lift off and become very visible when the lighting is in a certain angle. So, but it's you can see them on almost any deployment video where the lighting is correct.
I noticed a new question is about the kind of private company be your external partner. Yeah, you can be the external partner, but when they apply for the opportunity, they just mentioned that the external partner, not the application. Yeah.
So one very common example of a private company as an external partner is a testing facility, for example. So most of our customers do not have the capability to perform the vibration tests themselves, so they would go to a private company or sometimes a university to find a shaker table which can perform the tests. So that would be an example of an allowed private partner.
Let me double check with any more questions. I think we have missed any questions. Can you see the last one? The last question. Last questions.
Yeah, it looks like there's a question about can components change during the process of development? Again, to a minor degree, yes. If you wanted to select a different maybe battery cell, but the overall power requirements don't change, that type of change would be allowed. What we don't want is, certainly don't apply as a 1U and then it becomes a 2U, or vice versa, or don't apply as an RF payload and then become an optical payload. So from a direction of the mission standpoint, we need to hold those things in boundaries. But if you find out that you can't supply a component or can't source a component that you had anticipated using, of course there will be allowances for those things.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. And I note that AK from India is sending the second time the question. I'm not quite clear about the questions. He said that you are willing to participate in this from our university and in medtech level. What type of information should we give to our university? To be frank, I'm not so quite clear about what's your question. But if you participate using from your university, I think that the university will be the applying organizations. If you work, for the university, that you can apply under the university of the organization. But if you work with or cooperate with a university individually or personally, that will be treated as an external partner. So you need the university need to mention that you are working with them as a partner. And the information, I'm not quite sure about your question, but maybe we can discuss later. But if you work, if you is a external partner, maybe you can provide information basically about introduction or background of yourself and what kind of role and what responsibility you can provide to the universities. I'm not so quite clear, but hopefully can answer the question, but not quite sure. But we can communicate offline after the webinar if you still have the questions. The new question is, can government-owned university and cooperate with the private university? I have mentioned it already just now that you can work with them, but it's not an application organization. You are the external partners with the government universities. That means that only the government university is an applying organization, but it's not the private company. More question is coming. Is there a contact I can contact if you want to get more Yeah, you can. Of course, you can see the website and see my email. You have my email address, access to space for all. You can send any information and question to our email address. And the final one is, after winning the chance to launch CubeSat, we encountered trouble developing and built it within 18 months. What would happen? Do we get rejected from the launch opportunity? Yeah, I can probably can try to ask these questions.
Yeah. So when this successful applicant is selected, we will work with you to develop a timeline that you have confidence in. We will then work with you as much as we can to make sure that you have all the resources you need to be successful in that. We will communicate closely in that, but there will come a time where there will be a delivery deadline, and yes, we will have to set these dates. And if you miss some of those deadlines, there is a chance that if you can't meet those final deadlines, yes, you will miss the launch opportunity. But again, we will work with you early on to set timelines that are realistic and achievable to give you the greatest chance of success for this.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. All right. Most cases now, most of the people will keep the original schedule, but yeah, sometimes you have the delay in the project. But so it depends on the case. Also, our partner and UNOOSA also will work together to understand what kind of the situation you are facing, and if any delay, maybe we know what the reason, and a new progress, maybe what's the new time. Also depending on the next opportunity from the Exolaunch, so it's still possible. Yeah, but of course everybody. Space program always, have the situation sometimes, in delaying, but no one hopes, but it sometimes happens. But we can work together, find solutions. A new question.
Yeah, I'll take that one if you want. Can the launch quality testing performed by Exolaunch? So a couple of comments. One, it would not be appropriate for Exolaunch to be listed as a partner on your applications. Of course, that would not be kind of fair to everyone else. And also, testing services are not included in the financial support that Exolaunch is providing. Now, we do offer these services, so we can point you to resources that can help with this, but it would not be appropriate for us to be listed on your application to perform this for you. And kind of related to that, are the tests carried out at Exolaunch, or can we do it at your university? The typical program would be that you would do it at your location, so your university or in your country. However, kind of related to the last one, there are test facilities here in Berlin that we're associated with that can perform this. We can provide those contacts with you so that we can help you coordinate to use those facilities for the tests. And of course, the convenient thing is they are then right next door, that we could then bring your satellite after test straight to integration.
Great. I see that, yeah, somebody, thank you. Exolaunch can do it with them. We can see the last question. Can they do it now? University with the proprietary protocol? Have answered. Thank you. Also, thank you that I hope. Yeah, I look that we have answered most of the question already, and I believe some people maybe have more further question. No worries, that you can still have opportunity to send the question to our email address, and we'll also will respond to your question after that. And also we work together with the robot in the corner now in case you have any technical questions. So no worry. And but first of all, again, I recommend that you visit the website in UNOOSA, EXOpod and the Exolaunch webpage, and also website that's Exolaunch for the user manual and payload user guide. So remember to spend time to download all the document, read the instruction and document, so you'll know almost all the information is there and the requirements. So we are ready. We are here anytime to support you. So just don't feel hesitant now to contact us. Yeah. Okay. I think that we have running more than almost half an hour than original schedule. So today is very good. We have very briefly, just to give you an overall picture of what's the project, what the background, and introduction to UNOOSA access to space, and also the Exolaunch and the EXOpod project. Because of the time limit, we cannot spend too much time in detail, but we give you the total picture. So also let you know how to contact us and how to work and access to the required information on the website. I hope this webinar can give you help and help you to make the application. And remember the deadline is December 31st. You have almost 5 months to prepare your proposals. And so we are very pleased and look forward to have your participation in this project. Okay, before the end of the webinar, I can double check with whether Robert in the corner have any remarks.
We just really appreciate this opportunity to partner with you and with UNOOSA for this program. We're very excited. And as Hongxing mentioned, if you have questions, reach out and we'd be happy to answer these questions. And we look forward to working with all of you.
Yeah, thank you guys for the active participation, and it's been a lot of fun.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Robert and Connor, for your time and spending a lot of time in prepared document and also this webinar. I thank you everybody from many countries all over the world to join this webinar, and I appreciate for your support. And so remember to contact us when you have any questions. And after the webinar, we will upload the recording to the website, so you can listen beginning. And also, some people may miss these opportunities. They can download and listen from the webinar. And also, I have uploaded the presentation document already from now, so you can also download the document. Finally, after the webinar, I will send out the questionnaire to listen to your feedback, just to improve our work and the webinar in the future. So I hope that you can spend maybe 2 minutes to give me the feedback for the questionnaire. So finally, thank you very much. Have a good day. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.